What's up, YouTube? It's me, Kenny, again from Rebellion Vapors here on YouTube. Today I have the Wolf V-Feng-S review for y'all. It's very similar to the Wolf V-Feng that Wolf put out like in July, August of 2017, maybe June. But it's a very similar device, just a couple missing options on this one. That being said, let's get to it. So, the screen. I like the screen. I like that it just feels different from most other screens. It's got like a color kind of thing. There's some customization you can do if you actually go into the firmware update the firmware updating software. You can actually do a custom UI options. The one thing about the screen I'm not a fan of is the battery indicator. It's a dual 18650 device, but it only has one indicator for both. However, if you do that, just push the up button and the power or the fire button, you can actually see exactly where each battery is on voltage. Other menuing options you have, come on, it's 3 clicks, not 2. So mode, if you can see that right there, it's mode. Click on that. That's where you can choose your temp control options. So you've got stainless steel, TCR option, you have nickel, not nichrome, nickel and titanium, or then basic standard wattage, which is what I always use. I never do temp control. If you're wanting somebody that's going to go into the temp control and actually test it and see how it works on here, I'm not your guy, I'm sorry. You have LED options, so you can change the color of your LEDs. I'll show you each one. You can see the bar right up here. And then it also lights up on the back, so I'll go through those. See, I like this one because of the tank that I have on here. So I'm going to go back with that one. And you have the option of when using, always on or always off. I like when using, normal. There's loop, where it just kind of loops through all of them. And then there's breathing, where it kind of fades in between each of them, which is real nice. But with this tank, I always just go with normal, and it's super matchy. Other options you have in the menu, you have set, which is where you reset your puffs. You can zero your puffs out, set your preheats. That's after the firmware update. I have updated the firmware. It doesn't have that automatically. You have to actually go in and update your firmware. And then there's power saving. I'm not 100% sure what power savings does, but on, off, I keep it off because I don't know what it does. And then there's just exit. Takes you back here. As far as the device itself though, the menu options, it's pretty basic. On the, not the S, the regular V-Feng, there's options to change the UI in there. There's 2 different settings you can use, and then you can set there's a clock in there. And it's a real fancy looking clock. Pain in the ass to actually read the clock on here because I can't show you because it's not on this device. It's on the old V-Feng, the, I guess, upgraded, pre-downgraded version. I wouldn't even necessarily call this a downgrade because it's just a couple of cosmetic options. As far as how it hits though, if it says 65 watts, it's hitting 65 watts. Maybe 64 and a half. Maybe. But I don't notice any, like I've had a couple of devices where I pick it up, I have it set to 65 watts and I pull on it and it doesn't feel like 65 watts. I unscrew the RDA, put it on a different one, set to 65. Perfect. It feels like a much stronger 65 watts than mainly this other device here that I have that I don't use. I may review this one because overall I don't hate it. I just kind of have to keep it higher than I normally would. But that being said, it feels good. Feels good in the hand. I've kind of got big hands though. So the way that I vape, it feels nice. I can kind of wrap my hand around it because of the shape. I don't know if you can see that very well. but it kind of bulges out here, kind of fits the hand here. And if you're a thumb vapor, it works. If you're a finger, if you button or push your fire button with your finger, it still works. I go back and forth between the two, so it's real nice for me because I can just, and if I set it down and then pick it back up and my thumb happens to be over the button, still feels real nice in the hand. Real clicky buttons, I like that. They don't feel like they're gonna just, they feel clicky. I like clicky buttons, so that's also a plus. I like the overall aesthetic of it. You're definitely not going to see this. Let me see if I can kind of get it. There you go. You can kind of see it there on the fire button. It's got the Snow Wolf emblem, or a wolf emblem there on the button. And I think that's a nice little, just a small minor detail. But overall, the main thing I think that sells this mod to people, aside from it feels like good quality. I mean, I'm not saying that the only reason to buy this is if you want LEDs, because you can turn the LEDs off. But I like that they have them because it's nice to have that one device that you can just kind of have that's kind of flashy. And that's mainly what I use this for, is when I want something kind of flashy. Just because occasionally it's nice to have something, like if I'm laying in a dark room in bed and want to vape, it's nice because it kind of lights up the room, gives it a nice color in the whole, pretty much the entire room, because it's fairly bright LEDs. But overall, even if you were to turn off the LEDs and never use them, I'd say it's a really nice box. I like the menuing options. I like the way the menu is set up. I like how you can see your puff counter up here. You've got your wattage like really bold right here. You have a time, which I don't think you can really see while you're... Yeah, you kind of have to hold it at a weird angle, but it still stays there for a second. You can still see exactly how long your last puff was for a good amount of time. You've got your ohm reading, your resistance, and then your wattage. Oh my gosh, what is going on? Why? Who just went live on Twitch and is playing an ad? Okay, there we go. Okay, back to this. That'll hopefully get edited out. But you've got your resistance, you've got your output in voltage, not just wattage output showing. The only thing that I would change about this screen right here is the battery indicator. I don't like having to go to an entirely separate screen to see my battery, or to see both batteries. You can lock your buttons by holding down in the power button, but that still lets you fire. You can still vape when it's locked. It's not a full lock, but you can't. What you can't do is change your... Yeah, because it comes up and says button locked. Couldn't see that on camera. Let me unlock. Unlock. There we go. It'll come up in green, say button's unlocked, and then you can adjust your wattage or your output, whatever, your temperature if you're in temp control, and all that. I didn't go into what's in the box though. There's not a whole lot in the box. It's a real simple box. I mean, I like the design of the box, don't get me wrong, but it's a fairly simple design on the box. It's got your little color indicator on the side. Right here, I've got the blue. You can also get it red and black, or yellow and black. But in the box, you get your instruction manual, a USB cable for firmware updates, not for charging. Do not charge with the firmware update cable. It's a firmware update cable. Just don't do it. It's not good for your batteries, because it's going to charge one and then have to do pass-through charging to the next battery, and you're going to get batteries that are just not equally charged. So there's that. You also get your instructions for checking your what's it called? Authenticity. The scratch and sniff for the authenticity is on the side of the box. So you get that, and then you get a little warranty information card. They do tell you on the card to make sure you keep your original receipt. So there's, please keep your original receipt. And then if you don't speak English, because this same packaging goes to all the other countries in China, Canada, UK, France, Russia, and Indonesia is where all the warranty centers are. They list it in several other languages, none of which I can read. None of which I can really identify, except I think the second one might be French. But you get in English, French, I guess Russian, and probably that's Chinese. So there's that. I believe that's all that's in. Yeah, that's it. Get your little foam insert. And all those. Oh man, I'll get that in a minute. So, you're asking enough of what it does, how it works, how it vapes. Overall thoughts. You know, honestly, it's a wonderful device. If you're looking for a dual 18650, I have had no issues with it so far. And I do take time with mods before reviewing them, because I want to make sure that I don't have any issues. I want to make sure that I know a pretty good feel of how they work. Overall, I didn't go into the 510. I believe it is a non-adjustable, not spring-loaded 510. No, it is spring-loaded. It is a nice spring-loaded 510. I don't know why I said not spring-loaded. I don't think there's any device on the market right now that has non-spring-loaded 510s. But it's a real, it's got some give. It's kind of squishy. It's just real nice. The way that it feels, I don't feel like it's going to get stuck like some of the Wismec mods I've had with their 510s. I feel like it's probably pretty sturdy. Just nice squishy 510 connection. Let me fix my airflow. There we go. I feel like it hits real well. I haven't noticed the LEDs the way that I keep them, just kind of when using. I haven't noticed them really dying much quicker than a normal dual non-LED 18650 box. I don't feel like it's really affected the battery life. So overall, I'd say it's a really solid, nice, sturdy. It's got a good feel in my hand. I'm going to give it, I'm new to this reviewing thing. I'm kind of new to the numbers. I don't want to go too low. I don't want to go too high. If you don't like the LEDs, don't want the LEDs, I'd say 7 1/4. 7, and we'll just call it a 7. I'd give it a 7. It's a nice box, not the best out there, but not the worst by any means. It's a wonderful device. If you do want LEDs and that is a selling point for you, I'd say this is probably one of your better options on the market right now. The price point is pretty good. On Element Vape, they've got this version for $49.95. The original V-Feng 230 watt temp control box mod also for $49.95. So either way, $49.95. They have a starter kit with this and a tank. What tank comes in this starter kit? Because the 2 starter kits each come with different tanks. So let me check. So this one comes with, for the starter kit, it comes with, where is it at? The V-Feng Tank 3. Sub-ohm tank. Don't see anything about a rebuildable section. So there's that. I don't know if there are any other coils on the market cross-compatible with this tank that comes with this kit. I did not get the kit, so there's that. .8 millimeter or milliliter juice in this reservoir for the tank that comes with the kit. 23 millimeter diameter. I probably would not spring for this kit. That's just me. The other V-Feng kit for $64.95, that's $5 less because the kit that comes with this one and the V-Feng 3 tank is $69.95. The other V-Feng with the more options and more customization is $64.95 for that kit. And the tank it comes with is the V-Feng sub-ohm tank. Not the V-Feng 3, just the V-Feng. It does, however, come with a rebuildable section. So, honestly, out of the two, unless you absolutely do not like the color options on the V-Feng kit, I'd probably recommend the other V-Feng starter kit. $5 less, comes with rebuildable. You don't have to worry about, oh, well, what if they stop supporting these, stop making the coils for these? You've got a rebuildable. So I can't really say much to attest for either tank because I haven't used either tank. As far as the device, though, I highly recommend it. If you do want the LEDs for that price point, I'd say $49.95 for a mod. Not a bad price to begin with for a mod that feels this high of quality and hits this well. I'd give it an 8 if you do want the LEDs, a 7 if you don't care about the LEDs, an 8 if you do. But that's just me. I'm gonna get out of here, let y'all go back, or find another video, find another box you're interested in if you don't want LEDs, or find something better with LEDs if there is anything on YouTube that you can review or find a review for. But overall, I'd say this is probably one of the better LED boxes on the market as far as dual 18650s. It feels, to me, it feels better than the smoke mod, the Priv, the T-Priv with the LEDs. It feels nicer in my hand than that. It doesn't feel rough. It feels nice and smooth. I mean, it's not a perfectly smooth finish, but it's not like a rough finish. It's just kind of a textured, and you don't really notice it unless you're looking or feeling for it. Overall, though, it feels really smooth. The only thing that is kind of textured is this is indented, the lettering on the back. So there's that. That doesn't really bother me. It's got a nice, it's small. Overall, I'd recommend it. 7 out of 10 if you don't like LEDs, 8 out of 10 if you do. Just remember, keep vaping and stay away from the cigarettes.